The blade was already at her throat before she opened her eyes. I had trained for this moment my whole life. My name is not important. What matters is that I was standing over the Hive Queen of Corethus Vel, in the middle of her private chamber, with a weapon drawn from my own body, pressed against the soft ridge of her neck. No alarms, no guards rushing in, just silence, mist, and the slow rise and fall of her breathing. She woke the way her kind always wake, all at once, calm and aware. Her 6 eyes opened and found mine, without a single flicker of fear. "You move fast," she said, in her clicking language. "Faster than the last one." "Call your guard," I said. "One sound and I finish this." She almost smiled. That should have warned me. Footsteps came from the hallway, slow and unhurried, boots tapping against the smooth floor like a man taking a walk after dinner. I expected soldiers. I expected weapons pointed at my head. Instead, one man walked in alone, hands empty, rifle still slung over his shoulder like he had forgotten it existed. He was human, plain face, tired eyes, hair a little too long for a soldier. He looked at me. He looked at the blade. He looked at his queen, calm and still under my hand. And then he laughed. Not a nervous laugh, not the kind of laugh people use to buy time while their hand searches for a hidden weapon. A real laugh, the kind that shakes a man's shoulders and forces him to wipe his eyes. "I have held a blade to more throats than I can count. Kings have begged. Generals have gone pale and silent. No one has ever laughed at me." "Something funny?" I asked, my voice low and sharp. "A little bit," he said, still smiling. "Mostly the timing. My name is Daniel, by the way, since you're about to have a very confusing next 5 minutes, and I figure you'll want someone to blame." "I don't care about your name." "You will," he said. "Trust me." I pressed the blade a little closer. The queen did not flinch. That should have told me something too. "Here's the problem," Daniel said, stepping closer, hands still open, still empty. "That knife of yours, pulled from your own arm, not long ago, judging by how you're holding your shoulder. Clever trick. No metal for the scanners to catch, no weapon to find at the door. I respect it." I said nothing. He was right, and I did not like that he knew it. "But here's the thing about Hive Queens," he continued, walking slowly around the edge of the platform, never getting too close, never backing away either. "Their minds don't live in one body. The second an unknown person enters this chamber, her thoughts and memories move somewhere else. A second body, somewhere safe, already awake, already giving orders." He tilted his head toward her. "You didn't catch the queen. You caught a copy. A very brave copy who agreed to sit here and let you feel like you'd won." The queen's mandibles clicked together in what I now understood was her version of amusement. "It is, admittedly, one of my favorite tricks," she said. "I do enjoy watching them realize." The floor of my confidence cracked beneath me. I kept the blade steady, but my mind was already racing, already searching for a way out that did not exist. "Then why are you laughing?" I said, instead of stopping me. "Because you did everything right," Daniel said, and his voice was not mocking, not cruel, just honest. "The entry point, the timing, the blade with no metal to trip the sensors. That is one of the best plans I have seen in years working this post. And it still did not matter, because the thing you were trying to kill was never really in this room." I looked at the queen. Her eyes did not beg, did not calculate an escape. She had nothing to escape from, because she had already won before I ever climbed through the vent above us. "You could have shot me the second I appeared," I said. "I could have," Daniel agreed. "But then I would have missed this conversation, and honestly, this is the best part of my job." Somewhere below us, I heard it, a low humming through the floor, the sound of many feet moving at once. Soldiers. Real ones. Coming fast. "You have maybe 30 seconds before this room fills up," Daniel said, his tone suddenly gentle, almost kind. "After that, It stops being my choice what happens to you. Right now, it still is. I looked at the blade in my hand. I looked at the calm, unbothered face of the woman I had failed to kill. I looked at the human standing between us, laughing at danger, like it was an old joke he had heard 100 times before. I lowered the blade. The moment it left her skin, the queen exhaled, long and slow, as if she had been holding her breath the entire time, despite never showing it. "Wise," she said. Daniel stepped forward, and with surprising gentleness, took the weapon from my hand. He did not grab it. He did not force it. He simply held out his palm and waited, and something about that patience made resistance feel pointless. "You're not going to hurt me," I said. It was not quite a question. "No," he said, not planning on it. "You didn't hurt her, and honestly, you gave me a good laugh. That buys you a lot of patience in my book." The soldiers arrived a moment later, filling the doorway, weapons raised, ready for a fight that was already over. Daniel raised one hand, palm out, and they stopped instantly, waiting on his word alone. It told me something about who he really was in this place, something far more important than a simple guard standing outside a door. "Stand down," he said. "We're just talking." They lowered their weapons, though their eyes stayed on me, sharp and unblinking. The queen rose from her resting platform, moving with slow, deliberate grace. She studied me the way someone studies a puzzle they have already solved but still find interesting. "You came a long way to fail," she said, not unkindly. "Tell me, was it worth it?" I thought about the answer for a long moment. "I do not know yet," I admitted. "Fair," she said. "Most of them never admit that much." Daniel walked me out of the chamber himself, the soldiers falling in behind us, close but not threatening. The halls were bright, clean and quiet, nothing like the chaos I had expected after an attempt like mine. "Can I ask you something?" I said as we walked. "Sure. Why did you really laugh? The real reason, not the story about redundancy and copies." He was quiet for a moment, thinking. "Because for 1 second," he said, "you looked exactly like every soldier I've ever seen, right before they realized the plan they trusted completely has already fallen apart. It's not funny, because I enjoy your pain. It's funny because I've been there myself, more times than I want to admit. It's a very human feeling, watching your best plan turn out to be the wrong one." "I am not human," I said. "No," he agreed, smiling again, softer this time. "But you sure looked like one for a second there." We reached a holding room, plain and clean, with a single chair and no visible weapons anywhere in sight. Daniel gestured for me to sit, and I did, mostly because there was nothing left to fight for. "What happens now?" I asked. "Depends on you," he said. "You cooperate, answer some questions, maybe you walk away from this with your life, and a story nobody back home will believe. You don't cooperate. Well, that decision stops being mine to make, and I'd rather it stayed mine, if I'm honest." "Why would you want that?" He shrugged, leaning against the doorway, arms crossed, that same easy calm from before still sitting comfortably on his shoulders. "Because everyone deserves one honest conversation before the paperwork starts," he said, "even the ones who almost took a knife to my queen's throat." I let out a breath I did not realize I had been holding. For the first time since climbing through that vent, my hands were not shaking, my mind was not racing, and the tight knot of fear in my chest had loosened just enough to let me think clearly again. "You are strange, for a guard," I said. "You're strange, for an assassin," he replied. "You didn't run when you realized you'd failed. Most do. You stayed and asked questions instead. That says something." "What does it say?" He smiled one more time, quieter now, more thoughtful than amused. "That maybe you came here looking for more than just a kill," he said. "Maybe you came here looking for an answer to something else entirely, and the queen was just the excuse you gave yourself." I did not answer him. because I did not have one ready, and for the first time in a very long career, that silence did not feel like weakness. It felt like the beginning of something I had not expected to find at the end of a blade. Outside the small room, the halls of Corethus Vel continued their quiet hum of life, unaware and untouched by how close everything had come to changing that night. Inside, I sat across from a man who had looked death directly in the eye and laughed, not out of cruelty, but out of a strange, stubborn understanding that fear and humor often live closer together than anyone likes to admit. And somewhere beneath his easy smile, I understood that I had not just failed a mission that night. I had met the one person on that entire station capable of making failure feel like the start of something worth understanding.